on, everybody? Episode number 4 of the World's Podcast. My co-host Warren Edmonds.
What's going on, y'all?
Today we have a big guest today, Coach Hart, boys prep coach, and let's get right into it, guys.
Why am I guest number 4? I should have been guest number 1.
Well, we had like a whole lineup. I mean, I wanted you earlier, but you were telling me
Scheduling issues. I'll let my agent know.
Your agent, Coach Rich Paul, Agent Rich Paul. I mean, he had some problems, so let's get into it. Warren.
All right, so where are you from? Where did you grow up? Were you always in the Rhode Island area, or?
That's correct, Warren. Coach Hart was originally born in Providence, Rhode Island, the capital of the state of Rhode Island. I grew up on Manton Ave over there, near Johnson, Providence line, Manton and Chalkstone. To about 10 or 11, my dad was a Providence police officer, and he took a job in Smithfield, Rhode Island. And we moved to Smithfield in the 70s. And, probably like 3rd or 4th grade, Coach Hart became a student in Smithfield Public Schools. And my father, with a bunch of probably like 4 or 5 other fathers in town, started the Smithfield Youth Basketball Association.
Wow.
Imagine that. Now today, I believe they have over 2,000 kids in there, and it's quite a big thing. Awesome. So, mid-70s, we moved from Providence into Smithfield, and I've lived there ever since.
That's awesome. Now, what sports did you play growing up? Was sports always big in your household?
Yeah, I've told you guys in the past, baseball was huge in the 70s and 80s, and we grew up ball players.
Yeah.
Football, basketball, baseball. Some kids played hockey. Soccer really hadn't hit it. Soccer kind of got in its area in the late 70s, but it was baseball and football were the two biggies, and then basketball got big, obviously, especially with college basketball in the late 70s with Bird and Magic. I lived that, and that was pretty special. That really got all the enthusiasm with the sport, and then that led into the NBA, and the 80s was a great time in the NBA.
Yeah.
Celtics and Lakers and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And then what college did you go to? Were you always
Coach Hart had a little too much fun in high school with everything but academics. So sports, social life, and then academics were third, which I found out didn't work. So, I graduated in the bottom half of my class at Smithfield. I had, like I said, 3 sports. I was a sportsmanship winner my senior year. I was all league in all 3 sports, and we had good teams, but not quite at the highest level. And I had to go to junior college, and in order to get the exposure you needed in basketball at the time, you had to go that route because nobody was coming to Rhode Island to watch kids play. We had a lot of good players too, but nobody was coming here. So, and the prep school thing wasn't working. So, I went to a junior college. It was awesome. And a little short, chunky guy who kind of looks like me right now, back in 1985, 86, he came down from Maine, and me and 3 of my friends, he offered a scholarship, so we went. And
that's awesome.
We went to the University of Maine at Fort Kent on the Canadian border. Nice small school. It was NEIA, which meant they could give 15 scholarships. And we had some really good teams, and the league was really strong. There was a lot of Division I transfers. The Van Gundy brothers coached Castleton State at the time. They had all these New York City kids who were very good. So it was very high-level basketball. Probably Division II level. You played some teams that were Division I level. You played some teams that were really bad. Guys with 30, picking up another degree, playing ball on the side. So it was a unique league, but it was good for me. Once again, I was more of a football type kid, and then I got better in college with basketball, and I'm glad I went that route.
That's awesome.
So what led to you being a coach then? Would you say that college experience really helped?
Yeah, so my coach was, he taught me how to be my coach at Fort Kent taught me how to be a coach on the floor. My high school coach also, don't get me wrong, he did a great job, especially we had an assistant guy who was a young guy, and he got me into the summer camp stuff. So the first camp I ever worked in 1986 in the summer was Providence College Camp with a young Rick Pitino. And that started a lifelong friendship with Coach Pitino and Billy Donovan and Herb Sendek and the Van Gundys and all these other people who are at camp. So As I was a student at CCRI, I was also working camps, and I kind of got the fever to go in the coaching then.
Awesome.
But my college coach said, "Hey, you're basically coaching on the court, and you should probably pursue it." But I had another influence in my life. His name was Ralph Cotugno, and he's a Rhode Island sports legend. He was in between 9 and 10 Hall of Fames, by the way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And this guy invented the referees board for basketball and also started girls' sports in the state of Rhode Island in the 60s.
Oh, wow.
He had 4 daughters who were athletes. So Ralph got me into refereeing. So in the late 80s, I was done playing. I had enough of basketball. I graduated.
Yeah.
And I started refereeing. And I really enjoyed refereeing. I got certified and everything was good, but I couldn't get any games, high-level varsity games. So one day, my buddy was coaching Smithfield High, my alma mater, back in 1989, and he asked me if I wanted to, coach basketball. I was coaching football there at the time.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. And that really got me in. I started off scouting. So I would go to other games and I would watch teams play, and that got me hooked. Then I started watching colleges. I was still working camps, college basketball camps, and I started meeting people, and the rest is, it's like any other profession. It's networking, it's rolling the sleeves up and working hard. It's getting paid very little money at the start.
Yeah.
Some of my dear friends right now who are making millions of dollars start off making 10 grand, 15 grand, and that's how it is.
Yeah.
You gotta earn it. It's a grind, and I'm glad I went that route.
Yeah. So how long were you a scout then at the time?
I scouted from 88 to 94 as a football coach
Okay,
at
yeah.
Smithfield, and from 89 to 94 as a basketball coach. Meanwhile, from 88 to 92, I was refereeing.
Oh, okay.
So I was still trying to get into the referee business,
Yeah.
because I like the money. I'll be honest with you. And although I was always making $25 a game, we pay them now. But the scouting was really what I enjoyed, watching coaches coach and players play. And I enjoyed oh, wow, that's a 1-4 set. I wonder what they're going to do to get that kid open. So I started becoming the analytical type of coach that you need to be to survive in the business.
That's awesome.
So, preparing for a game, how would you like to prepare your team usually going into a big game, for instance?
Well, we have a set of what I call non-negotiables, okay, which is basically routines. We're going to do the same thing every game. So there's certain rules we have in the league with scouting, okay? Anything online is fair game, but I can't call a coach and get a report. But there's enough online where you can see, all of our games are online, where you can watch other games. So Coach Haggy and I split it up. Back in the day with Coach O'Shea, we would split it all up, and we do reports. John, obviously you're on the team, so the prep team, so you would know what we're talking about. And if it's a Class AA game out of league, we're going to scout. We're going to give you a report. If it's an out of league game, we might scout it. We might not. We might not if we can. So obviously the league games mean a little bit more because we're trying to get in the playoffs and trying to win a championship. But that's the way I think coaches learn the game. And then unfortunately in today's culture, you can't work as many camps as you used to when I was going through, because I used to have on-the-job training. I'm at a camp, there's 400 kids. I'm watching Rick Pitino teach the stutter step on offense and shot fake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would leave. We have 10 weeks in the summer off.
Yeah.
8 weeks I'd be on the road. NC State, Miami, Ohio, Butler University, where all my coaching friends had jobs. Pittsburgh. I was driving everywhere, taking one check, paying for the next week, and living in a hotel. But I wanted to learn, and that's how I learned. And that experience helps me for games. I can go into, you see my file cabinets.
Yeah.
I can go in the file cabinet and say, hey, listen, we're playing against this 1-1-2 or 1-1-3 defense. What did Thad Mata used to run? I remember he used to run something when he was an assistant at West Carolina back in '93. And I'll go and I have notes in my files, believe it or not, about those things that happen. So those experiences help me get ready. The non-negotiables are you're going to be here an hour before the game. I had the pregame list all laid out for you guys, and the routines. We go out dressed. We don't go out with headphones. We don't go out with no uniforms on. We, from Rory Wood, who's a chef in Las Vegas right now, probably should never play basketball, to Miles Brilliant, one of our top point guards we've had, little guy, tough as nails, Carter Williams, John O'Leary, Cole Schweider. You guys all do the same thing on game days. And it's all to get you ready to perform at your best for 2 hours. That's the goal. We eliminate all the baloney that goes on, and we get you focused because we want you to play well for yourself, for your family, for the school. And you never know who's up in the stands. Yeah. You guys want to get recruited? Well, they're watching everything. Yeah. They're watching how you warm up. They're watching how you talk to the coaches. They're watching how you take instruction. They're watching how you, interact with, your teammates and referees and all that. So preparation's big, getting you guys ready to look good out there, and hopefully we win. Yeah.
So how has kind of like your coaching evolved over the years since you started to now?
Well, I'm going to go back. When I took the job in '94, I was teaching at a school up the street, and everyone was asking me, why are you doing that? St. Andrews is awful. And here was my line. All right. We had just won a state championship at Smithfield. My line was, I want to be a head coach. I want to coach in college. I need head coaching experience. St. Andrews has a tradition. They won before. I'm hoping we can turn it around and we can get back on the winning track. And I got lucky. I mean, there's a lot of luck in coaching, guys. I don't care what sport it is. I got lucky. We had Mr. Martin came in as the brand new headmaster. He said, we need to change a lot of things. We did. And he believed in basketball. And, we got the boys basketball program up and running again at a higher level. But we did it the right way. No scholarships, no taking kids just because they could play. They had to be involved in the school. And, we've kept that mentality the entire way. If it wasn't a good fit, it wasn't a good fit. We moved on. We wished the kid luck. We moved on. And I think that the philosophy continues. And I just think a new group comes in. Here's what we do. Do we tweak it a little bit? Yeah, you tweak it, but we're going to run Syracuse on offense. We're going to run a 2-3 zone on defense. You're going to have to be at the bus. If we're leaving at 1:45, you better be there by 1:45 or by 1:40. We did all that stuff with everybody else. We're going to continue doing it the right way. So the philosophical changes might be, hey, let's open the offense up a little bit more this year. Hey, let's play more half court. Those are all, you evolve as a coach through professional development. And I'm always online. I just finished a USA basketball class this morning on practice planning. I want to change things up with my practice plans. And Coach Haggy and I will meet about it. I'll let him know on it. So you're always in professional development. One of my mentors is Bob Hurley. Danny's father, who's in the Hall of Fame. The greatest high school coach of all time, probably, in my opinion, the greatest coach of all time. That guy, to this day, when he gives a coach's clinic, last week in New York, he gave a USA basketball clinic. He stays for the rest of the clinics and he takes notes. And he's retired. And he takes notes on everything. So it's just like, your philosophy, you're going to have those non-negotiables, and you can tweak it to meet your current needs, meaning the kids, but you still have to have that foundation that doesn't change. And I think that's one good thing we've done here.
So when you came here, how did the whole NEPSAC thing work? Were you guys always in?
No, we were awful. Yeah. But I love those guys. You know why? They brought it. We couldn't play, but they brought it every day. And I appreciate that. Those kids played hard. We lost a lot. And, we got better. And that was the goal. The goal was, look, we don't have enough talent to beat this team. Yeah. We're going to get better. And then we brought the three-point shot to the league. All right? My training with Coach Patino And then, my junior year when I went to Maine, the 3-point line came down. I thought it was a joke of a shot, 20-footer. I didn't think that was a tough shot. And I've always believed in shooting a lot of threes. Now, what happened was, it's like Frankenstein. We created this big monster, right? So I'm a little upset about that. I think people are relying on it too much. But if with St. Andrews, you guys know that we want the mid-range. We want the post play. So we're going to shoot like 30, 35 a game. This team's taking 45, 50 a game. And we've had some good shooting teams. But, it's like anything else in life. It's moderation. You can't keep doing one thing all the time. And come playoff time, the games are in the 60s, and you have to execute on offense. So you need a half-court set. Yeah.
So your perspective on the game today, and kind of like with the offense, as you said, like people just going for threes so much, and now they kind of like almost overuse it. What's your feeling on like the offense?
It's way, like I said, it's Frankenstein. You guys know Frankenstein, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
I throw out lines and kids just look at me, and I'm laughing, But anyway, well, seeing as I've been around a long time, and Dr. Naismith himself back in 1891. No, I like a lot of what's going on. I don't like a lot of what's going on, and if I'll make sense of it. You guys are better athletes than when my group was around. A lot more kids dunking, which means vertical leaps have increased. We were way more physical. Obviously, I remind you guys of that all the time. And I don't like how they softened basketball up. I don't like that. I think that they've given the offense too much of an advantage, where the offense already has an advantage. He knows what he's going to do. The defense doesn't know what he's going to do. So, I was just reading the new rules this year. They tweaked the defense. There's no touching at all, except in the post. They brought back the forearm in the post. So, and I won't blame the referees, because the referees aren't making the rules. The coaches, I don't know if you guys knew that.
I didn't know.
So the coaches, they'll consult with some refs, but for the most part, the coaches make the rules. And the referees will tweak it a little bit and then explain it. So it's just, there's still some good things going on. The fast break's been awesome. It's hard to press now because teams are smart enough to, handle the pressure. I think ball handling skills have gotten really good and really bad. There's something called intelligent use of the dribble. And I think that we're forgetting that. I think kids are over dribbling. And then the age old, it happened with my age group too, is no one moves without the ball. And that bothers me, because I think we spend enough time teaching that skill. That's a skill. And, it's motion offense. You go to you get a perspective of how kids grow up in basketball when you work these camps all over the country. You go to the Midwest, it's all motion offense.
Yeah.
These kids are all moving. You know why? They play 3-on-3 till the 7th grade. Then they play 5-on-5. So they're used to playing 3-on-3 with the spacing and all that stuff. So that was a unique thing. Up here, what do? We run and gun. And back in the 80s we hit. In the 90s we hit. It was like a tough city game up and down the court. And, down south they have all these big dudes. You go to Texas, you got these 17-year-old kids at 6'9", 250. So back in the day, Texas was known for post play. South Carolina post play. So you get that. So there's things I like going on, and there's things I wish would go back in time. Maybe that's because I've been coaching totally for 37 years, 31 here, and I want the mid-range jumper back. And too many threes. But go ahead. Yeah. I'm babbling. Yeah. Sorry, folks.
I saw the other day. I saw the Knicks about your referee statement. The Knicks actually posted. They made like a little chart of the 3 refs that did their game, and they had like all the different things, and it'd be like, was this ref high, low, average, at all the calls. So that was a cool thing that you mentioned that about the refs. Yeah.
At the end of the day, they're human beings.
Yeah.
I don't think a referee is there to mess up your game. Although sometimes on the road you never know.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on NEPSAC basketball? Do you think what are your thoughts on it, like in general?
It's down.
It's down.
We don't have the talent we used to. We're still good. Don't get me wrong. But we were the top league. There was no discussion. We were the top league for a long time. And there's other leagues better. And I don't blame that on NEPSAC. Well, some of it's our fault, but most of it isn't. We stuck to our standards, and we've solidified those standards, meaning we want kids playing multiple sports. I want kids playing multiple sports. As you heard me mention, I play multiple sports. But there's other schools and there's other options for kids. I first started doing this, we probably had 15, 20 NEPSAC schools with basketball at a high level. But the kids were playing other sports. And now you have specialization. And it's really hurt the league, in my opinion, because kids are going elsewhere. Also, it costs money. It costs money to come to NEPSAC. Yeah. All right, we get the top, academic schools in the country. Okay, and some of these other schools, it doesn't cost anything. They're giving athletic scholarships. They're, some NEPSAC schools are too. Don't get me wrong, but I just think, we had some good day back in 2011 and 12. We had some. The 13 draft, we had like 7 NEPSAC kids get drafted. That's crazy. Out of 60. So it's the league's definitely down. It's not the same, but it's still a good league. Every night you're playing a scholarship kid. Yeah. Especially in double and triple A. Yeah. Class A is very good. Class B is good. C's got a couple teams, but C's more realistic with multiple sport kids. Yeah. They don't have as many post grads. But A and B have good teams. Double A has great teams, and triple A has very, very strong teams. I also don't like some NEPSAC schools who are doubling up. So we have JV varsity, and then we have prep. Yeah. Some of these schools have prep 1, prep 2, varsity 1, varsity 2. So are they lying to kids, or are they really... Our number one job is to place you guys in college. Number 2 is winning. Okay? Well, number 2 is life skills, let's be honest. And 3 is winning. So I wonder what their goals are, but the league is down. I don't think that it's where we were.
Yeah. So how would you prepare for a specific game? Say you're facing a team with one player that really likes to score the ball compared to another team, which
it depends what position he plays.
Yeah.
High school basketball, the big guy doesn't hurt you. We've played some really good big guys who've played the NBA. I can count on one hand the amount of times we've lost because of a big guy. I'll give you 2 right off the top of my head. Torrin Francis, 6'11" kid from Tabor Academy in the early 2000s, late 90s. He was the McDonald's Player of the Year. Imagine that. Wow. Played at Notre Dame, and he didn't get drafted. He played overseas for 15 years, had a great EuroLeague career. He had 29 and 22 on us one time. Yeah. Caleb Tazewski, another 7-foot kid from St. Mark's in 2012 range. Yeah. Another McDonald's All-American. He had 6, 8 points against us. We did a good job. And then in the playoff game, he arrived. He had 20 and 16, and we lost. Uh-huh. So, yeah, it was Nerlens Noel, who I think is still in the NBA. Nerlens, we played him probably 8 times. He killed us once out of 8 times. The other 7 times, it was George Nang, the 6'8" shooter who was killing us. I think the point guards are the ones who kill you. Last year, John, you remember we played Blair, which would have been a big win for us, and Duran Rippey, the sophomore USA basketball player, killed us. Yeah, killed us. And their big guys really didn't do much. And so at the high school level, I think the guards hurt you a lot. With the 3-point line, I think the guards hurt you. It's not really a big man's game, but you need the big guy. You got to rebound. And that's number one priority, besides defense, is you have to rebound. If you don't rebound, you can't win games. So you need the big guys.
Yeah. Do you feel the same way about college basketball? Do you feel the point guards really run the show, kind of?
Yeah. I think the point guard playing college basketball, point guards, plural, because every team has 2 point guards on the court. Okay, so and they can shoot. So I'll tell you right now, Coach Hart in college, 6 points a game, 9 assists a game. I did not shoot the ball. I was there to play defense, organize the team, and pass. I take a couple shots a game, make a couple free throws at the end, make a layup, maybe 1-3. Yeah. But the reality was my job was to get the guys the ball down. A gentleman by the name of Allen Iverson got involved in the NBA in college. He was like a scoring point guard. even though Magic Johnson averaged like 18, 20 points a game, but they never called him because he was such a good passer. But Iverson turned the point guard role into a scoring role. So now you have two guys on most college in the game at the same time. Yeah. Both can shoot. And then when the college guys come to observe you guys, the point guards have to shoot. They have to. If they can't, they don't recruit them, especially if they're on the 6 feet.
For sure. Yeah.
That's why I tell all the guys on the 6 feet, you better be a lights out shooter.
Sure, yeah. What are your thoughts kind of on college basketball and the NBA right now? How do you think it's changed over time? And
it's all money. I don't like it at all. I got the NBA League Pass because Cole Schweider, David Duke, and Tyler Kolek are in the league.
Tyler Kolek, yeah.
3 former Hoops with Hot Cameras. Oh, Terrell Mann too.
Trey Mann, right?
Trey Mann.
No, what's his name from the Clippers?
Oh, Terrence Mann?
Yeah, Terrence. I'm sorry, Terrence. All right, and then we got a couple of coaches. Demetrius Nichols is coach with the Sixers. Paul Newman, St. Andrews grad, is with the Cleveland Cavaliers. T.J. Sorrentine is with Washington. D.J. Smith, who played at Wheeler, who's my buddy's son. I played with his dad at CCRI. He is with Oklahoma City Thunder now. Oh, wow. And then we got the double. We got Joey Mazzulla, who's I grew up with his dad, and I've known Joey since he was born, and then Mike Malone. They're both from Hendricken High. So we got a lot of NBA stuff going on, and I never thought this would ever happen. So I had the league pass. I don't like the league though, especially I like it now. I don't like it as the season gets going on. What happened last night? Those two guys from Philly didn't play. They're making $100 million combined, and they're not playing. Yeah. First game of the year. Come on, give me a break. So, and then unfortunately in the college level, I've seen it. I'm not going to mention specific cases, but I don't like the NIL. I don't like the colleges paying kids. I think a $250,000 4-year scholarship's enough. And here's why I don't like the NIL. Cole Schweider, when he was at Syracuse, he did like an appearance or a commercial, I forget what it was, and got a check. He worked, he got a check. That's the same as Mike Hart back in 1986 working at Pizza Hut. Okay, when I was working at Pizza Hut with the polyester outfit on for $3.35 and up. Ready? Not fast food, good food fast. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's what I did when I was in college. I got a check. I had no problem. But the NIL now, as I found out with Keegan Records and Bryson Gadine, as I found out, is now used in the recruiting process, and I don't like it at all. They're paying kids. Yeah. I don't like it. I'm happy for the kids. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I don't like that's a big no-no to my generation. Yeah. And then the least savory characters in basketball who you don't want kids hanging with are now running the show. Yeah. And I've said that publicly. I have no problem saying that. Yeah. All right? You see a lot of these 20-something-year-old dudes hanging at these gyms running, as we call it, for agents. And obviously you guys know I've been at the top when I was with Adidas and Sonny Vaccaro, who invented the sneaker contract. They thought it was sleazy then, when we were, and it's nothing compared to what I'm seeing now. Yeah. And I'm seeing kids who can't play making a couple $100,000 to go to, and it's sad because it's education, and it's not education anymore. It's a pro sport, and I'm not thrilled about it. Yeah. But I'm supporting our kids. Yeah, sure. I enjoy D3. D3 I love because it's pure. It's basketball.
Do you think social media kind of has an effect on the kids and their recruitment?
Yeah. I picked this up in 1997, 1998. I was speaking at Syracuse camp, and I put this up in front of 500 kids because it was brand new. Yeah. Probably late 90s, maybe 99, 2000. Mm-hmm. But we had access to the new internet thing. It was dial-up, and the cell phone started getting access. I held it up. I said, "This is going to be bad, everybody. It's going to be really bad." And you know what? My neck is sore because I'm doing this all day, as I just told you guys, and it's destroyed. It's destroyed sports, in my opinion. I thought this is great. It's going to help kids get recruited. It's going to demystify some legendary kids in different areas. It's going to help in the recruiting process. And it did until probably 4 or 5 years ago. And it's gone bad. I wish it would end. I really do.
Yeah. So for recruiting players, like what's some traits that you like to see in them when you see
Here?
them play?
At St. Andrews?
At St. Andrews.
Well, first of all, you got to behave.
Yeah.
If you don't behave, I can't help you. And the second thing, you have to buy into St. Andrews. You have to be a community member. We don't have any basketball players here. You know.
Yeah.
We have a good basketball team or teams, I'll say, but I want the guys getting involved in school. That's why I was afraid to take post-grads, and I wish we had done it sooner. All those years we were in the USA Today rankings, and we had the paper, like the Providence Journal and the cameras here. All those kids were ingrained in St. Andrews. They were in the school play, community service, maybe played another sport. And you know what? I'd rather, if you look at our wins and losses all these years, 20-12. 1 year we went 27-5. That was an unbelievable 12-member team. All 12 kids got scholarships, eventually. So, I'll have those years. But it's funny, I had no preseason. It was Bonzi Colson's senior year. Bonzi had all those guys in the school play. They were all in Greece. So we worked out at 6 a.m., and that was it. They were all in the play used to be in the fall. So you got to be ingrained. That's it. That's number one. Number two, you got to pay to come to St. Andrews. It costs money to come here, and some schools give scholarships. We don't. We make it affordable for you guys, but at the same time, that has a lot to do with who comes in. And the third thing is you got to play. If I'm talking to you, I've seen you play. You got to play. Like John, I told John, I really didn't recruit John. I found out about John through the Swiders. Okay?
Yeah.
And at first I was like, he's not a bad player. Let's see what happens. Right? I've been honest with you. And John just got better and better and better. And this year he's got a nice role in the team. Obviously made him captain. And he's going to play in college. Now, 4 years ago, did I think John was going to play in college? Probably not. I saw a 115-pound, 6'1" kid. Right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, 115.
So those are the things I'm looking for. You're going to fit in at St. Andrews. Are you going to be able to afford to come here? And do you have the skill to play in the prep level? That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. It looks like we've gone back to the young kids. And that's fine too. It's good for the continuity of the program. Yeah. It's good to keep the what's the key with the buzzword now is culture, team culture. But anyway.
What's your goal with the young kids? How do you kind of develop them over these 4, 5, 6 years?
I yell and scream at them the entire time. You got to be careful because of the internet.
Yeah.
You can't overhype kids, and I've never overhyped anybody. My saying is, I don't take kids on lists. Kids make the lists when they come to St. Andrews after a while. And if you look at our 5 guys in the NBA who've played the NBA, 4 of them were here for 4 years, and 1 of them was here for 3. And like I said, I love the post-grads. I love it. They've added another type of family member to St. Andrews basketball. But there's something special about the high school kid, and that's why I get choked up during senior day, because I know when you guys get here as freshmen, and then I see you when you're ready to go, and it really it affects me emotionally, and I just think that you can't hype them. You work with them enough, but you got to teach them how to do stuff on their own. Yeah. If they're not going to go on their own, they're not going to be a player. And as you know, John, with what you've done with basketball. Warren, I know you play basketball, but you're more of a lacrosse guy. And I've seen you out in the lacrosse field, too, on your own or with another guy, getting better. So kids have to understand, it's it's a 50-50 relationship. Yeah. And then the grades. You got to have the grades.
Yeah.
So these young guys come in, we got you got to go to class. Yeah. It's really hard not to do good here. Yeah. There's so much structure and there's so much help faculty. I don't know one faculty member will see, can I have extra help? There's no way there's a faculty member at St. Andrews who will say no.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So, it's not about being eligible to play a sport. It's about, what if the sport ends? I need a backup plan.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to teach, especially the young kids. We teach them right from the start, backup plan.
For sure. What are your thoughts kind of on the whole AAU circuit with the EYBL, 3SSB? What are your thoughts on that right now? I know that's really big for college.
Well, like I mentioned the early days when Sonny Vaccaro started the camps in the early 90s. First he was at Nike, then he left Nike. I mean, watch Air, the whole story's there, or the 30 for 30 special. So I got there in the mid 90s through Herb Sendek, who's now at Santa Clara. I met Herb at Providence with Coach Patino. He's an assistant then, and Herb's dad and Sonny Vaccaro grew up together in Pittsburgh. So Herb helped me getting to ABCD camp, and then I had some players, so that helped me too. Yeah. But I've seen AAU evolve. AAU basically did not exist when I was a kid, especially in New England. Out in the Midwest and South, there was AAU, but it was not big at all. And then through the sneaker companies, and I hate to say it that way, but that's what got it started. The camp started, ABCD. Next thing I know, I'm like, hey, Dwight Howard, check in for LeBron James. They 16, 17-year-old kids, which is pretty cool, I see Tony Parker, I'm like, hey, we're in an all-star meeting at the end of the week. I'm like, hey, I'm this little guy from Rhode Island. I got guys from Houston and Chicago, hyping up their kid. I'm like, I raised my hand in the back of the room. What about that French kid? Because he had a film crew following him around. That French kid, he's destroying everybody. He's the best player of this camp. It's Tony Parker. And all these guys, oh, look at the guy from Rhode Island with one player. Because I had one kid there. With one player talking, But anyway, I've seen the good AAU and I've seen the bad AAU. I've seen the guys who, that's their job, which I disagree with. And I've seen the guys who are giving back to the community and helping kids, which I agree with. I used to run Three Stripes, which is the tournament after ABCD for Adidas. And Kyle Lowry's team from Philly, the coach was sick, couldn't make it. I ended up coaching for the weekend. Basically, I stood there, Kyle Lowry coached, but I was the adult figure. They had 7 guys, I didn't have to sub that much. So we beat Dwight Howard's packed Atlanta Celtics, and we win the championship. There's a picture out there with Kyle, his arm around Coach Hart. So, I saw at the highest level, and the kids behaved, because they're in the hotel at night, and I see them. But what I see now is I see low-level AAU that's embarrassing, and I see kids getting overhyped. Yeah. And I see guys who are running these teams, and they're making money. Yeah. And I disagree with it. AAU is to get exposure, to get you more college, liking, let's be honest, in recruiting. And I just think that, one of my sons, Liam, wanted to play AAU with Beckett and his friends. Yeah. So I said, Liam, you're not playing college basketball. I love you, but you're not playing college basketball. He just wanted to keep playing. Yeah. And I said, fine. So I went to Rhode Island Magic. Dave Tedeschi does an unbelievable job. Yeah. They had a B team. Liam, Beckett, and a couple other guys playing the B team. Yeah. They had a great time. Yeah. So it was the spring of their junior year. It was fun. Yeah. It was fun, But they got it. They know that they just want to keep playing, and they keep playing. And they had practices, so they were being coached. I liked it, but they're not going to go play college basketball. Yeah. And the main thing for AAU is the vehicle to get to college basketball. And that's changed. Now they're like the European club teams. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And they want the kids to play in the club and not play high school. And call me selfish, that's fine. But the reality is this. There's nothing that takes the place of a high school prep school experience for an adolescent kid. Nothing. The kid needs to be, in a school with a principal and a prom, not a full-time AAU program at Jump Over the Moon Academy, you know,
Oh, yeah.
where you know,
Or we believe we
yeah,
achieve.
yeah, it's just you can't. It's a sin. It's bad. It's you know, and then it's all reclassifying up.
Yeah.
What? I've been a teacher for almost 40 years. That doesn't exist. That doesn't. We call this staying back, and you stayed back if you failed or had D's, or your parents felt he needs another year academically. Had nothing to do with athletics. Matter of fact, you had to go to a hearing in high school back in my time to prove that it was an academic move.
Really?
Yeah. Now it's like, okay, we're going to have these kids. We're going to say they're 14. We're going to get all this hype.
Yeah.
They're going to get recruited. And then when we get the money from the NIL, we're going to push them up a year. And magically graduating. I had a kid in my office. 3 years ago, as an 8th grader. He graduated from high school last year.
Are you serious?
Yep. And I'm not going to name names, but that was all an AAU move. So those AAU coaches could get part of the NIL deal.
But he was the top player, though, right?
He's a very good player.
Yeah.
Yep. And and that woke me up.
Yeah.
And I did not agree with that. And I hate to say it, but he went to a NEPSAC school, in which I was very disappointed about.
Yeah.
I didn't think our league would do anything like that. Yeah. But so I'm not a fan right now of what's going on with AAU. I'm not. And it's funny because I still agree the kids need to play. I just wish it was a cleaner operation. And then there's guys, there's no background checks. They're supposed to be. The NCAA requires it, but they'll have someone else do it, and they'll wear their, lanyard and coach at these events. And these guys who are running these events are making so much money, they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. And it's a shame that, a guy who's had a troubled past and shouldn't be working with kids is coaching 12 adolescent boys, or girls, who he's the role model. I just think it's awful. And I can talk because I coached AAU.
Yeah.
I've coached AAU, and I've coached high school, I've coached middle school, I've coached CYO, I've coached rec league. I've worked in every environment. I've been a skills trainer. I've worked every environment, and that part, and they'll never solve it. It's never getting solved. So that's up to the parents to decide what they want. But anyway.
Yeah, so do you have like a underrated skill in today's game kind of that you think like kind of like gets neglected almost?
Move without the ball on offense. We don't teach it enough. And then obviously rebounding.
Yeah.
Offensive rebounding really doesn't exist. You look at the NBA, it's embarrassing. They all run back. And I've asked guys about that. I've asked, I talked to Cole and Michael Carter-Williams. Michael Carter-Williams, one of the best rebounding guards I've seen at any level. Like, I used to let him go and rebound at 6'5", 6'6", and he still got back on defense. Because point guards can't rebound, they have to get back. Yeah. He still got that done, but he was such a great offensive rebounder. And, in the NBA, they run back. Yeah. It's one shot. And, you look at a game, they'll 9 or 10 offensive rebounds. So they've all said that Demetrius, Nichols as a coach, he says they're too fast on the other going back. You got to get guys back on defense. He says the transition game is too fast in the NBA. College, you see the slugfest every now and then on the offensive boards, but moving without the ball and rebounding have both lost starts, and it's a shame because it's killing the game.
Yeah. Who's kind of your favorite player you ever played against, or the best player you ever played against, would you say?
I think Drew Holiday was. Now, the more and more I think about it, we've played against, once again, this is all luck. We've been lucky. We've had great kids. We've had an administration and a board and faculty. It's a family here. Everyone's believed in what we've done, and it's because we've had good kids. And we've been invited to a lot of very, very strong high-level events and played against a lot of Division I kids who are pros. Mm-hmm. But Drew Holiday really impressed me because we played him back-to-back years. And he was a junior, and his brother Justin was on the team, and they had a third kid who played in the NBA. I forgot his name. He's like a 6'9" kid. They played at Campbell Hall School, a private school like St. Andrews in
California, right?
Yeah, in the LA area.
Yeah.
And we got him in Delaware at Slam Dunk to the Beach, and actually it was called a Baseball Classic then. And it was that was the top high school tournament, or one of them at the time. And they come out, they're undefeated. They're the best team in California, 5A, which is the top league. And we beat them 79-77.
Yeah.
And Rakim Sanders, one of the, our pros, everyone forgets. He's 6'5", he was like 220, solid rock.
Oh, wow.
He had 36 and he had 22 rebounds. And, Drew had about 16, 17. Justin had like 20. That other kid scored. So the way we won the game because we had the last possession. And one of my little guards hit a bold jumper with 2 seconds left. And the next year we went out to California. They invited us to their tournament. And they annihilated us by like 40. And he had like 35.
Oh, wow.
And I really, and to see him do what he does, So obviously I can get to a Celtics practice because, my friendship with Joey, Coach Mazzulla, and Brad Stevens and I are very close through camps in the early 2000s when he was a grad assistant at Butler. So I'm lucky enough to be able to go up to a Celtics practice. So it was funny, I went last year and Drew Holiday looked up and his eyes lit up. And he goes, St. Andrews. That was 2007 when we played them, in 2008.
That's crazy.
So that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, I said, am I still this fat guy that everyone recognizes? And he just started laughing. So at the practice we were talking. He goes, they were 35-1 his junior year. They won the California State Championship.
Wow.
So it was nice. Like the Sacramento Bee was calling me. How'd you guys beat them? And I said the same thing I just told you guys. We had the same story. We had the ball last possession. But out of everybody, he's been the best. Yeah. That kid was and it was on both ends, offense and defense, But we've been lucky. We've played a ton of Division I kids in pros. Yeah. So there's a lot of other stories I just keep forgetting out there, And I hope it continues. I hope we keep playing high level kids. I'd rather play a high level team and lose than blow a team out that doesn't have any talent. Yeah. Because I'm not helping you guys. Yeah. There's probably no college coaches there. I can't get film. So, Anyway.
What are your thoughts kind of on the WNBA right now? I know that's really blowing.
Yeah, I love it. If you look at the banners in the gym, okay? I became the athletic director in 1998 here. And every white banner in the gym is from 98 on. So there was a comment made by a teacher with Mr. Martin, and we used to have nighttime faculty meetings here. So Mr. Martin announced in the spring of 98 that I was the new athletic director. And a female teacher said, great, we're going to be a basketball school now. What about other sports? And my comment was, no, we are a basketball school. We're going to be a school with good sports. And Mr. Sherber came in. We got lucky. He came in and Mr. Martin brought in this girl from Pittsburgh. I forgot her name. She was really good because he used to teach at Swickley Academy in Pittsburgh. So between Mr. Sherber arriving and this one girl, it got, we had some other girls. Mike Stevens, who became a big-time official, who was, he signs now and he's the liaison with the Province Police Department. At that point, he was coaching and officiating and working for the recreation department. He and I connected, so I had a bunch of girls from Providence come in, and we started girls sports.
That's awesome.
And it's been huge. It's been very successful to a point now where, you can really see the equity. You can see the equity, and there's a lot of banners up there, and I'm really and they did it the same way. They did it the right way. Yeah. And held kids accountable. Kids pay to come here. We have great coaches, and the business model of WNBA needs to change. It's gotten a little bit better, but they need to stop relying on the NBA. I think some of the things that they come out with might be a little over the top, but they're fighting for respect and survival, and I get it. I like watching the game most of the time. The other night, that was a tough game to watch, that championship game. But both teams struggled, and you're going to have those nights. I've seen NBA games like that. So I'm excited for the league going forward. I met Caitlin Clark last week, briefly.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I went to see Cole play, Cole Schreider play for the Indiana Pacers.
Oh, yeah.
She was in the family and friends room. Nice person. Jack, by the way, strong.
Really?
Taller than me, strong. We had Coach Battistini here. She's worked with the USA Basketball, 3-on-3. She Cameron Brink's on her team. Like, she's got all these high level. So I think it's going in the right direction. I think that they need to clean up some things. And but I'm an advocate. I hope it does well. Hope the league survives.
Yeah.
And I hope our girls' sports keep doing good and building. We want to keep building. Girls' soccer was good for a while. Kind of went down a little bit. They get really good. It kind of went down a little bit. Now we're average. We'll probably jack that up a little bit more and try to recruit more girls to come in. Lacrosse, cross country. So I think our offerings are good, and the WNBA provides those role models for our girls, and I think that's huge.
Do you have any other sports at St. Andrews that you really enjoy coaching here besides basketball?
Well, I'm glad Warren asked that question, because Warren's witnessed Coach Hart's undefeated record as lacrosse coach.
Oh yeah, undefeated.
Oh no, we lost one last year when I was coaching.
I think that was 2 years ago against Williams.
Oh,
that was a rough one too.
Rats. So I'm 3-1 at the time. Yeah, I love lacrosse, and here's the thing. Here's the thing about lacrosse. When I grew up, I'll never forget it. I can still see the kid's face. We had a water break for football, double sessions in August at Smithfield, and this kid's got this pole. It's like 1982, 83. I'm like a sophomore. He's got this pole, and he's throwing this ball against the wall, the school. Yeah. And I go up to him, I go, "What's up with that?" He goes, "Lacrosse." And at that point, I was starting to really despise baseball.
Yeah.
But we were ball players, like I told you guys. Yeah. And I didn't like baseball because it was slow. I played football, exciting as heck. Yeah. Basketball, exciting. And then baseball, it's pouring rain out. You're in the gym. It's boring, So I'm like, tell me about lacrosse a little bit. So he's telling me about it. I go to LaSalle. We have lacrosse. It's nice. I started watching it. So I got interested in it. I'm like, this is really cool. They hit. You can really hit somebody, get away with this. Is good. You can assault people and get away with it. So I watched and watched and watched, but the thing that turned me really, really into, liking it. Now, there's a culture I'm not a big fan of. Lex, bro. Warren.
I'm not part of that.
No, you know what? I am proud to say we don't have that culture here.
Yeah.
As an athletic director, I'm proud. The summer of, it was Memorial Day weekend of 2000, I was at the University of Maryland working a minor league tryout camp. I used to work for the Hoop Group, and they were hosting the camp, so I was running this camp of guys who were trying out for the International Basketball League, which was it was like the G League back then. It lasted like 3 or 4 years. So we have 500 guys trying out, and so I'm at Cole Fieldhouse, really, big time gym, it's like a cathedral. And I'm out in the parking lot during a break, and I look over the bowl. They have a stadium, football stadium, and you could see down in, it was lacrosse.
That's awesome.
And they had Division 1, 2, and 3. And it got to a point where the guy running the camp was like, "Mike, your team's playing, you have to come in." Because I kind of got hooked on it, watch it. So yeah, I enjoy lacrosse. I like how we play here. Look, we're not the best team in the country, but our kids play hard. They play the right way. And then the soccer, Coach Bork, he's a legend. Just like Coach Sherber was with the girls basketball. They're legendary. And like I said, since that moment in '98, I wanted to make sure everyone understood that I am a sports guy, not just a basketball guy. And if I had to give up one or the other, if I had to give up my athletic director job or the basketball job, no one believes me, I would take a step back from basketball to be the AD, to stay as an athletic director. Because I enjoy all sports. Because I think it helped St. Andrews tremendously dig our way out of a rough time in our history, reputation-wise. And I've seen so many success stories of kids learning life lessons, here through sports that have gone on to big things in non-sport careers. And I'm really, that's the goal,
That's awesome. I know we're getting kind of close on time here. One last question on the kind of next.
Last question, John?
Yeah, last question. I kind of like to ask all our guests, what's some advice that you would give to a young athlete, as I say, out there?
First of all, John.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer a question you're not going to ask me.
Okay, go ahead.
The greatest game I've been involved in at St. Andrews.
Yeah.
A lot. A ton.
Yeah.
Every year I keep like a top 10 list of my career as athletic director in basketball. So I keep 2 of them.
Yeah.
There was some stuff that went on in soccer that I just can't explain.
Yeah.
Like, we score with 2 seconds left in soccer now and send the game to overtime. Corner kick, we head it in. Everyone's running out in the field celebrating, like stuff like that. That there's no way. Like, you're like, oh God, we lost this game. I'm gonna go give the kids, a hug and a high five. Great season, and then we score. Like, it's just unexplainable.
Yeah.
So there's so many moments. Like Mike Raffa, one of my mentors here. He's here for 42 years. He did an unbelievable job. He used to call them snapshots. And I've had so many snapshots. I mean, I'm so lucky. With basketball, though, there's one that you guys have both, you've heard of. But in 2006, we had a team full of juniors, and I was like, we're going to be really good when these guys are seniors. So we got in the tournament. I didn't think we would. We got in. And we were the 6th seed. So we go play the 3rd seed on the road, and we blow them out. We choke Rosemary Hall. We blow them out. The next, that was a Wednesday. On the Friday, we used to play Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. On the Friday, we played the number 2 seed, who was the defending champs. I'm like, at least we got to the semis. Yeah. I'm thinking, I'm not telling the kids this. And we win. I'm like, oh my God, we're in the final. Who do we play in the final? Proctor Academy, who has beaten us 3 times at St. Andrews, at Proctor, and in a Christmas tournament at Mass Premier by an average of I'm not exaggerating. I'll show you the scores. By an average of 38 points. They just abused us, and they were not nice to us. Yeah. They were not. So Saturday practice was special because you maxed out your practices, and very few teams do that, and we prepared for a championship game. Now, I had been lucky enough to win a couple titles at that point, but this group never played for a championship game, and we had one rule. Proctor had 11 dunks on us senior day in February up there, and they made fun of us. I said, nobody dunks on St. Andrews. That's all I care about. Now I'm thinking, we're going to get whacked, right? Yeah. But I get the whole team back next year. We'll win it next year. Yeah. Perfect, right? First play of the game, first of all, we played at Loomis. Yeah. We had about, I'm not exaggerating, between probably 200 and 300 St. Andrews fans because we were still in school. Yeah, Proctor was out. They drove 3 hours on a bus. They had no fans. So I'm like, oh, this is nice. It's like a home game. Mm. And Loomis is a really nice facility. Mm. Shared back seats. It's nice. First play of the game, they have a kid, Isaiah Whitehead, 6'9" kid. He ended up going to St. John's. I think he played in the NBA. Yeah. They had their top player was Jerome Dyson, who played at UConn. Yeah. Played like 7 or 8 years in the NBA. He was tremendous. 6'3" guard. He was awesome. He throws a first play, a nice bounce pass. And Isaiah Whitehead's like this, ready to two-handed on us. Mm. Garrett Kissaw, 6'9", 250-pound center, who's on the board right now, or going to be on the board. You guys see him. He comes around a lot. Yeah, he does. He runs from way on the other side and nails this kid and knocks him down. And, John, the greatest story in my eyes ever told is Rocky Balboa. And the Rocky Bell, I'm getting goosebumps telling the story. I heard the Rocky Bell go off, and I knew it was on. Their bench cleared, our bench cleared. The coaches, I'm very close to this day with Greg McKechnie. He's up there. It wasn't cheap. It was physical. And the kid missed both free throws, and it was on. And next thing I know, an hour and a half later, Michael Copo, yes, Olivia Copo's cousin, who was a sophomore, hits a running 10-footer off the glass of the buzzer, and we win by 1 over the 7-foot kid who ended up going, I think, with the Seton Hall or DePaul, another Big East school, right up and over him on the buzzer. And we mayhem. I got tackled. I was like doing airplanes, running around the court. Coach O'Shea at the time was breakdancing. It was crazy. I've never been part of anything like that in my life, and I hope it happens again. but that was my most memorable as basketball coach, most memorable game. As AD, the soccer stuff, but the girls' first championship, they beat PCD at Lincoln School. That was special because, at that point, the girls' programs were awful. Yeah. And we put together a team, and the girls worked hard, and Coach Sherber's a great coach, and they won in double overtime. I'll never forget it. We had the whole school there. Yeah, awesome. It was wild. But what did you, advice, don't do it. Go into something else and make more money.
You serious?
No. I feel badly for a young, hungry, person who wants to coach, because the avenues aren't really open right now, and the road is very confusing. I knew what I had to do. I had to work camps. I had to network and meet people, and get a break, and get lucky, and then work for low money. Mike, Thad Mata, Sean Miller, John Gross, Mike Hopkins, Joey Mazzulla, all those guys made nothing. You're talking 10, 12. Joey Mazzulla was making $9,000 with the Red Claws back in 2017. Crazy. So you're not gonna make any money. And I don't know if people can do that nowadays with the current climate of rents and payments. But I still encourage it because we need more people working with kids, and coaches and referees are right now in trouble with the numbers. We're in trouble, and I want to tell people it's like any other job, as I said earlier during this podcast, that it's networking, meeting people, getting your name out there, and it's all about networking. And the avenues are, I don't want to say Coach AAU, but it looks like AAU helps. Yeah. It does help you meet people. I'm not, like I said, I don't want to recommend it, but, the camp scene isn't there anymore. You have the academic camps that I still work today, with all those awesome schools there evaluating kids, but it's more just games. Yeah. It's not as much instruction. And I think the workout guy helps and hurts the game, but if you can establish a clientele and have a reputation of doing meaningful, drills and stuff, that can help you get into. But it's tough. It's tough, and it's the path isn't as easy.
Yeah. I thought that was a great podcast. When you want to sign us out, you have any other questions, Coach Hart, or no?
No, I think you guys are doing a good job. I watched the other ones.
Thanks.
Yeah. I think it's fun. Yeah. I think if you guys want to go into communications, this is a great way to start. Oh, yeah. And I'm dying to know who's following me up with the next podcast. Yeah. I hope they're as good as I was.
Yeah, I hope so.
That's going to be hard to beat, but we'll definitely try.
Yeah, we'll definitely try. So, Warren, let's sign us out on the pod.
Yep. Thank you guys for tuning in for episode 4 with the Coach Hart. It's been an honor, and we hope you guys tune in for the next video. See you guys.
Peace.
Go Saints!